Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Three Nations Dementia Working Group webinar. Uh, the theme today is dementia and pets. Pets can play a crucial role in the lives of individuals with dementia, providing them with a companionship and emotional support and a sense of purpose. And they can also have a positive impact in their overall well-being and quality of life. We have a panel of experts to assist us with the webinar, and they will introduce themselves shortly. We encourage your participation, which includes your comments, responses, and questions, but please submit your queries using the text boxes at the bottom of your screen. It is essential to use these text boxes because if you raise your hand, we won't be able to see you. We will monitor the text boxes for any questions and address them as we proceed. I'd like to take this time for you to note that these webinars are created, produced, and presented by individuals living with dementia. While we cannot handle individual queries, we will try and help to provide guidance through the text boxes and where you can get help. Well, that's enough from me. I can hand you over some more interesting people than me. And our first participant is Melvin from the fair county of Kent. Good morning, Melvin. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. I'd just like to introduce myself for all those who don't know me. I've got two types of dementia. I've got frontal temporal dementia and Alzheimer's. Also, I'm dyslexic and COPD. So that comes with dementia. I'd like to tell you about a dog that I had in 2019. He was a Doberman, and he was my friend, my carer, and he was my love of my life. He had drawbacks, but he was a fantastic dog. You could take him anywhere. You didn't have to have a lead on him, or if you went into a restaurant, he would lay down. He was so intelligent. It was unbelievable. If you asked him to go to the washing machine to get something out, he'd go and get it. And he had one drawback, which was footballs. He loved footballs. And over the course of the time that I had him, which was 4 years, he was a rescue dog, by the way. I got him from Doberman Rescue down in Chorley in Sussex. And I used to take him up where they used to play football. And I soon found out that he loved footballs. And over the course of the time that I had him, he cost me over £1,000 by the amount of footballs that he burst. He loved bursting footballs. And at the last count, it was 68. And although I didn't tell my wife, because I think she would have persuaded me not to take him up there, but he just loved footballs, and he gave me so much pleasure. It's unbelievable. And like I said, he was my carer, my friend, and he used to make me he just made me feel so good, and with my dementia. And I just thought I'd like to say that at the beginning of this, because when I had to have him put down, the trauma was unbelievable. But having said that, there are so many benefits with people that have dementia that have dogs, and they can improve your physical and mental health. You get to meet other people. They change your life forever. And I think that they can actually help improve our health and social aspect of our daily life. And I feel my life is better for having dogs. There's an old saying that is certainly true, that dogs repay the love you give them tenfold. Even playing games with your dog counts as exercise. And you probably noticed how tired you feel after a long game of fetch, even though the dog is the one who's been running around. One of the biggest benefits of the dogs is the way they encourage you to be more active, which supports your health as well as theirs. There are dozens of ways in which your dog makes you more sociable, and their amazing ability to make us feel calm, and that has a brilliant effect on our health, and that has effect on our health. Our blood pressures goes down, and actually has a big effect on our well-being too. I can't express how much that has affected me. Socially, when I'm out with, I've got 2 greyhounds at the moment. I've just got one a fortnight ago called Wednesday. She comes with surmountable problems, but oh, what a fantastic dog she is. She's dug me garden up, no end of time so far, but that's all part and parcel of having a dog. And one of the things, I mean, my 2 dogs were greyhounds, and the benefit of that is when you take them out when it's wet, they don't get dirty, and so there's no rubbing down and what have you. But there are dozens of ways in which my dog makes us more sociable, and their amazing ability to make us feel calm. That has a brilliant effect on our health. Blood pressure goes down, and actually has a big effect on our well-being too. Also, dogs teach us valuable skills in training, and our dogs require time, effort, and patience, and all the things that are useful in other aspects of our lives. From enjoying the great outdoors to appreciating the smaller things in life, our dogs really know how to lead by example. And when it comes to happiness and encouraging valuable life skills that can't be learned anywhere else. Also, as dog owners, generally have a stronger immune system, helping us to stay well and spend less time getting over sickness and bugs. In fact, as dog owners, visit their doctors less often now than dog owners. Dogs provide us with a sense of emotional well-being, thanks to the unconditional love they give us, which is why they're great company and comfort for people like myself who live alone. Owning a dog can help people recover from personal trauma as well, such as bereavement, which In 2019 also, the year my Doberman died, in November, the 14th, my brother died. And on the 19th, my wife died. And if it wasn't for the fact that I had 2 greyhounds, I don't think I could have made it. They're absolutely fantastic. They knew when I was down, and it made me get out and to physically face the world that is so harsh at times. They're great company and comfort people like myself with dementia. Owning a dog can help people recover from personal trauma like I had. And dog ownership can help people with mental health problems to recover and feel better. I can't emphasize that too much. And on top of all this, all these serious benefits of having dogs, they are also fantastic fun. They always make you laugh. They're there at the end of the hard day, and they almost always be on hand for a reassuring hug when you need it. And also, with having a dog comes responsibility. Obviously, having a dog, you have dogs there, so I suggest you invest in a good vacuum cleaner. Poo bags when you go out for a walk is a must in every pocket, because you could never predict when it can end up a multi-poo walk. Also, responsibility when, for argument's sake, when you have nights out, perhaps you need to plan for that. Holiday planning, you need to include your dog's needs, and also dogs can empty your bank account with illness sometimes that they have, and these days vets bills can be very, very expensive. So whilst your bank account may be empty, your clothes covered in dog's hair, your home and your heart will be full of love. Your dog will always be happy to see you, even if you have gone out for 5 minutes. They will give you unconditional love and devotion that you can only ever dream of. They're just a few of the things that I wanted to say today. But hey, I couldn't survive without my dogs. I really couldn't. As a person with dementia on my own, I just it gets you out of bed in the mornings, and the responsibility weighs heavily, I know, but that far outweighs the love that they give you. And I just appreciated that I've been given the chance to talk this morning about my dogs, because without them, I don't think I could have survived this last 4 years or 5 years. But I hope I'm here, and that's about it, really. I can't say no more about how I feel about my dogs, because they are just tremendous, and they've helped me with my dementia so much. It's unbelievable. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Melvin. I think I see all the panelists nodding whether you said, I don't know what the audience is saying out there, but I mean, the unconditional love bit is so important. I mean, you know, people forget that. Yes, there is a huge duty and responsibility when you have an animal, but or a pet, but they pay it back, particularly dogs. They pay it back in spades, really. Thank you very much, Melvin, for sharing with us. And I'm going to go to our next panelist now, Martina, who I think will have a very similar experience with her dogs. Morning, Martina.
Good morning, Nigel, and thank you for the intro. And good morning to everybody that's decided to attend this morning. Sometimes I wonder how many people consider the effect of the bond that humans have with their pets. It's something that you can't actually make happen. It evolves naturally and organically, and sometimes you don't even realise that it's happening. My name's Martina, and I have a PCA, which is posterior cortical atrophy diagnosis. That affects the back of my brain, which processes visual and spatial information. Other things that are impacted are reading and spelling, difficulty with coordination, light sensitivity, problems with numeracy, and so the list goes on. I kid you not, at times it is a very strange world to inhabit, but it's also very interesting too. Amy, I wonder if you could put a photo up a buddy, please. But you know, despite where my life is now and the road that I've tramped thus far, I still feel I have a life to live. And alongside me, I have the best companion in the world, my dog. He never shouts when I get things muddled. He doesn't clock watch because it takes me so long to get dressed. He couldn't give a toss if I get words in the wrong order, or put my sunglasses on in the middle of winter because of light sensitivity, whilst you can see other people thinking poser. But what he does do, he comes and puts his head on my lap when I've been at my computer for too long, as if to say enough is enough. You're getting stressed because your typing is coming out back to front. He'll sit and look at me if a reminder alarm has gone off and I haven't responded to it. He'll move around, he'll move without being asked if he's lying or sitting in the direction I'm walking in. He randomly checks up on me at night. I've had a variety of pets and animals over the years, including dogs, cats, chickens. I've rescued a few of those, by the way. Ducks, rabbits, bantams. I was often seen at dusk shimmying up a tree to bring down a golden pencil hamburg, getting it into the pen for safety, instead of it roosting in the trees. However, I digress. Daisy, could you put the Daisy slide up, please, Amy? I'd like you to introduce you to my beautiful dog, Daisy, a rescued English setter that I brought back with me from Mallorca, where I'd lived for a number of years. She was the catalyst that helped me to find the courage, despite my dementia diagnosis, to own another pet. I saw her grow from a timid dog who could only walk in circles. She'd been kept tied up in a small space, and that was all the exercise she knew. And I saw her grow to the most amazing girl who could fly like the wind. She was a gentle soul, and you'd often find cats sleeping in her bed with her. When I received my PCA diagnosis, I remember saying, well, Daisy, here we are, girls together. Daisy was an amazing companion, and as we grow older together, I began to notice changes in us both. Amongst other things, Daisy was starting to confuse night and day. In the meantime, I'd been to the GPs, which was the start of my dementia road trip. Taking her to the vets, explaining the symptoms, I now had an insight and understanding into doggy dementia. And I know there is a proper name for it. So now when Daisy struggled with doggy sundowning, I was prepared. After she came in from her last outing for the night, I would put a duvet on the floor in front of the fire, and I'd sit with her talking and stroking her silky head. Then as she settled, we'd fall asleep, and about 3 a.m. was the time she was comfortable. She would go and lie at the foot of the bed, and I'd hobble down the hall behind her and literally fall into bed beside her. As I saw the stress leave her, I knew I could give her some quality of life. The following 12 months after Daisy died, I heavily resisted having another dog for 2 reasons. The devastation of losing such a wonderful companion, and 2, my dementia diagnosis. And then in a rare dementia focus group meeting, our discussion topic was support, and I happened to mention Daisy and why I wasn't going to have another pet. The outcome of that meeting and a statement by one of the facilitators was, don't not have another dog for the wrong reason. I knew in an instant that it would be wrong for me not to have another dog. I had so much to give, and I know how much a dog would give me back. So I registered with the Dogs Trust. Amy, can we see Louis, please? Funnily enough, I was again in an RDS focus group meeting and my phone rang. I'd forgotten to turn it off, and I'm so glad I did. It was the Dogs Trust. I shouted at the screen, it's the Dogs Trust. They found a match. He's a golden doodle called Louis. A humongous cheer went up, and I will never ever forget that Zoom call. Whilst Louis was only 8, his life was short-lived, and we became great pals in August, and he came home with me. I thought I'd got my pal, my friend, my dementia dog, you name it, forever. But several months later, on Boxing Day in December, he collapsed with anemic shock. The vets took him straight in, and in 48 hours later, he seemed to have recovered and scans revealed nothing. Then on New Year's Day, he collapsed again. Louis died the following day. Throughout the devastation, all I could really think of was that I had given Louis the best life possible for his remaining months. Unsure whether I should attend the latest focus group meeting, I did, and the support I got was fantastic. And as it turns out, the actor Stephen Graham was there. I don't know if you remember, he was the male lead in the series Help, about having dementia and being in care homes during the pandemic. He was researching dementia, the challenges, etc. for his role. He was also incredibly supportive and told me a story of how he came by his dogs and what they mean to him. I was actively encouraged once again to get another dog, which I didn't hesitate to do, and so Buddy came along. I've already spoken about him earlier and what he brings to my life, so here is the lovely boy. He is big, gentle, very wary of strangers, and white so I can see him. But what about planning forward, and what have I put in place for Buddy? Because Buddy looks after me. It was really important for me to do this as my dementia progresses. So everyone at the vets is aware of my PCA diagnosis and therefore help in a way they can. For example, when Buddy's food had to be changed, the senior nurse took it upon herself to research the several types that would suit him because of my limited capabilities with a computer screen. Financially, the practice runs a pet care club where a small monthly fee covers boosters, kennel cough, injections, 12 consultations a year, etc. And they even see Buddy once a month to monitor his weight, just in case I forget, and also his general health. But I also play with him. He is, despite his size, quite timid, so that he has confidence in them should he need treatment. I've also set up a savings account called Buddy's Savings Account, so I save whatever I can afford to help with any bills. I've also registered with the Dogs Trust and carry their card should anything unexpected happen to me or I'm no longer capable of giving him the best life he deserves, so that I ensure he goes the best home possible. Until then, he will remain by my side. Even at just 3.5, Buddy has already shown me the love, kindness, devotion. He grounds me, gives me reason to carry on. He is my best friend and supports me, giving me joy, which helps me make sense of my PCA world. I hope you can see in this final slide of Buddy, of what Buddy and I mean to each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. As you know, I was born into the Roma life. I started my early days. I lived in a caravan for my first 8 years, and we used to look at the go shows. That's you guys, and used to think, we had dogs and we loved them, but we didn't understand the nature of the way you guys loved them. You made them part of the family. but we didn't. You know, they had a function. But it's obvious to me, since I've not been, you know, not lived in the life as well, maybe 40 years now, and mixing with if you like, gorgeous and the way they treat their dogs, that it very quickly they become woven into your life, woven into the lives of people, of what people do. I can ask you one question: how important? I know you stress that, but how important is Buddy to you right now? Is he a prop?
No, he's definitely not a prop, but he's my lifeline.
Yeah.
Buddy is the one thing in my life that gets me through the day, that gets me through the night, that gets me through anything that bothers me. He knows when there's something bothering me. I cannot think of not having a Buddy in my life, or a Daisy, or a Louie, and before that, even a Sunny, and a Blossom. And I suppose I told the story in a slightly different way to Melvin, because despite that heartache and the 12 months and not knowing whether I should or I shouldn't, even though instinctively I know for my well-being it was in my interest, could I really genuinely put a dog through something that perhaps when they're 5 or 6, they need to be rehomed, they need to. So it took me a long time, but I've made the right decision. And I was devastated when Louis died, and died so quickly. And nobody knew that it was going to happen. The dogs trusted every single nobody knew it was going to happen. And it didn't put me off.
Yeah.
Because of what Daisy had given me, because of what Louis had given me, there was a big hole. There was a huge hole in my life, and I needed to fill that hole. And yes, he's got 4 legs, 4 paws, and 2 ears, and he's a dog. But actually, to me, he's my companion. He is like Melvin's dogs are. He's the love of my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people are tutting, because I get it wrong, well, what are you doing, Martina? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? You know, I just put his harness on, because you've seen he's a big dog. He's nearly 40 kilos. I put his harness on, and I just quietly close the door, and me and him just go, and we have our peace, and we play our games. And I think one of the ever abiding memories I'll have, because Buddy, although he loves playing, and I'm up in Cumbria, and I was out walking him on the marsh by the Solway. And through PCA, I couldn't quite see where I was stepping. And there's lots of these little rivulets that run into the Solway. And I stepped to what I thought was ground, but I got the dark grass and the dark water, they just blended together. Well, I ended up flat on my back, lying half in this little river beck thing, with one arm in the thing, one Wellington in the thing, both filling up with water. Who comes along? Buddy comes along, and you could see him saying, yeah, this is fantastic, Mum. I told you getting in the water is brilliant, but you wouldn't listen to me. So he's definitely not a prop. And all I could think of was, how am I going to get, I was trying to push him off me. Stop it, Buddy. Yeah, this is great. This is fine. I don't need a wash. And how was I going to get out and get back, get back basically. And the first thing that went through my head is, I'm going to have to ring a farmer and see if I can borrow a quad bike. But we managed it. So he's not a prop.
So the impression I'm getting is that people view their pets as partners as much as, objects of love and affection. They play a real part in people's lives. And, I mean, there's research out there that shows petting a dog is good for your mental health. There's research out there to show you that playing with a dog lowers your blood pressure and your stress levels. And that's coming through with the last two contributions, you and Melvin, that, you know, they are an important part of your life. And when they're not there, it's a death in the family, really, isn't it? You know, that's how important it is. You got a question for Hilary. Mabel and Martina, thank you for rescuing your dogs. Your love comes over loud and clear. Wonderful to hear about them. So some of these Tuesday mornings we've been a lot better. The next first panelist is Joy. Good morning, Joy.
Okay, got there in the end. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Dr. Joy Watson. I'm an ambassador for the Alzheimer's Society and a proud member of the Three Nations Dementia Working Group. But this webinar isn't about me, so I'd like to introduce you to Precious. She's a King Charles Spaniel and is 4 months old. As you can see, she enjoys giving kisses, which is quite handy, really, because I'm training her to be a dementia therapy dog. I'll hand her back in a minute. Goodness. Yeah, as I said, she's training to be a therapy dog and she's doing okay. Well, I think so, but then I'm biased. At the moment, she comes with me into dementia cafes and the Salford Uni Dementia Hub. The folks in these venues are getting to know and love her. We held a competition to choose her name and the colour of her collar. They said it had to be pink. She was a girl after all. During this webinar, I'd like to share with you a few photos. The purpose being to give you a flavour of how pets can enhance people's lives. If you could show the first one, please, Amy. Thank you. Precious brings things to people's lives that any amount of medication can't. It was my intention from the very beginning to invite people to get involved. I wanted them to feel Precious was partly their dog. This has paid off. The interaction is fabulous. They enjoy petting her, and I get left to pick up the poos and pay the vet's bills. If I could have photograph 2, please, Amy. If you're any doubt that pets have a part to play in people's well-being, take a look at this photo. I don't know who's enjoying the experience more. But on a more serious note, this little puppy has a job to do. That job is bringing comfort and pleasure to people affected by dementia. By people, I mean the person living with the condition, but also their friends and families. If you could show the next photo, please, Amy. Thank you. I'm sure we'll get up the photo. There it is. Thank you, Amy. This photo shows 2 grandchildren who come to the cafe to have lunch with their granddad. People who are able sit on the floor and play with the children and the dog. Seeing the interaction and the intergenerational work is something I could watch all day long. Of course, I have to do my homework, making sure all the rules are kept, and asking the staff if there are people with allergies or are nervous around dogs. Having said that, the experiences I've been part of are worth all the work. I remember one gentleman getting up from his armchair, taking the lead and walking the dog round the lounge. Announcing he was walking the dog, walking the dog. What you have to realise is that this gentleman didn't get out of his chair very often, and no one could remember the last time he spoke. One area I don't allow Precious to explore is the dining area, not just because of the hygiene rules, but because everyone wants to give her tidbits. So when folk go back to the lounge, they get to give Precious small dog treats. And Precious has got wise to this and sits patiently waiting for the folk to return. Does she know who spoils her the most? Of course she does. The Dementia Cafe has become Precious's second home. She has her own bed and water bowl. I like to have a game of curling some days, but have you ever tried stopping an excitable puppy from chasing the balls? Her antics bring roars of laughter, and that's the aim, to get people laughing. I feel privileged to impact people's lives in this way. Some people say, oh, it's only a dog. No, it's not just a dog. It's a relationship with a comforting, non-judgmental creature. So many of the people I spend time with have various reasons, have had to give up their pets. I used to be a nurse, so I've used dolls and fluffy cats and furry rabbits to engage with people, but you can't beat the real thing. I've taken pet guinea pigs into care homes. The response has been wonderful, although I must say not so wonderful when they wee on someone's lap. That was a learning curve. These days, I never go anywhere without a stack of baby nappies. Precious is house trained, but if you put an excited puppy alongside an excited person, the inevitable is bound to happen. You've probably gathered I'm a keen believer of having pets as therapy. My dream would be to take Precious into people's homes when they can no longer get along to day centres. Precious is a blessing to me, as Martina and Melvin have already said. But if I can share that blessing with others, then my passion is fulfilled. She's not just a dog. She's a precious dog. Thank you.
And thank you, Joy. And can I say, we've been with Precious from the day that Joy had her. So she's part of the Three Nations Saturday and Sunday socials as much as we are. And the work that Joy does. Sorry?
It's all right.
So the work that Joy does in the community is astonishing, and this is just one other thing that she does. But as you can see, the importance of engaging. I work as a friend with a local care home, and on certain days they have alpacas come in to the windows now, not because they can't come in, they come to the windows. But it does raise the temperature of the, people get really excited by seeing this and petting them. Well, last but not least, we're going to have a presentation from Natasha and Fiona from the Dementia Dog Project, who I've got to say, I've got the greatest email address, bark@dementia.dog. I think that's fantastic. And I'm gonna change our email address to something like talk@3nations. I mean, it's really inspired me. So, lady, there we are. She's back again. So, ladies, over to you. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, everybody. Firstly, I just want to say how much I've enjoyed just hearing about your own dogs and the incredible bonds that you so clearly share with your dogs. And Natasha and I are going to talk a bit about the Dementia Dog Project, but I don't think we can put it in any better words than how the three of you have talked about the personal connection you feel with your dogs. And that's very much the basis of how we work at Dementia Dog as well. So thank you so much for having us along today. My name's Fiona Corner, and my colleague Natasha Shepherd. And I'm going to share my screen. We've got a couple of slides we're going to talk through, and then we're actually going to share a video with you. It's 10 minutes long, but really hope you enjoy it. We just had it created 2 weeks ago, hearing from some of the families we actually support. So I will just share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see that fine.
Yeah, the slides are up for you.
Great. So Dementia Dog it's quite a unique collaboration, actually. We work up in Scotland, and it's a charitable collaboration between Alzheimer's Scotland and the charity Dogs for Good. And we're focused around, as we say there, sort of harnessing the natural skills of dogs to help people living with a diagnosis to live with more confidence, motivation and joy. We celebrated our 10-year milestone last year, so it's quite a small project in Scotland, but that was a pretty exciting milestone for us. And really, so part of what makes Dementia Dog quite special is because of the collaboration of the two charities. It really blends that the dementia and dog skills, so that it means the families that we support can really get a real holistic sort of package of long-term support from us. And it's all around really working with all the natural attributes, for want of a better word, that a dog brings, all that unconditional love, the non-judgmental, I think everything that yourselves, Joy and Melvin and Martina, you've touched on. So we work with that, with the dog, because it's really important to us that the dog's really loving its job as well. And then we just layer on to that some training certain skills that we know can go on and help people. So Dementia Dog, back in 2013, the project first started actually with training up the world's first dementia assistance dogs. And over time, though, because there's certain criteria involved with the assistance dogs, we know that certainly up in Scotland, there's over 90,000 people living with the diagnosis. And with just purely the assistance dog service, we'd only ever be able to help quite a limited number of families, even though we know it's such a life-changing impact. So it was really important for us that we could look at other ways that we could train dogs or support families and to have a dog in their lives. So now I'm just going to hand over to my colleague Natasha, who's going to touch on some of the other ways that we work in Scotland and some of the services that we've evolved.
Hello, everybody, and I just want to reiterate Fiona's message. It's so lovely to hear from your personal stories, because that's something that's very close to our heart. So one of the services that we have, which was the core service to begin with, was our assistance dogs. And to date, we've placed 10 dogs in Scotland. And these highly trained dogs are placed with a family where somebody is in an early stage of their diagnosis. And each dog is bred by the charity Dogs for Good. And then the puppies are selected depending upon their personal preferences as to their route in life. So some will be placed as pets, some will be selected to go on to different areas of the charity, which are physical disability, autism, and the dementia side. And then what we look to do is we look to match the personality traits and preferences of the dogs to those of the people that have applied, so we can build really good, strong, long-term relationships for them, and they have a mutual beneficial life together. And looking upon this, as Fiona mentioned, we then looked at, okay, well, how can we reach more people? Because not everybody is wanting an assistance dog. Sometimes circumstances may not be best for them to have a dog placed with them. So we then looked at diversifying our services into the community dog. So myself and my colleague Carla are the pair of the community dog handlers on our project, and we have the 3 dogs you'll see in the pictures here. So we've got Billy, the Black Labrador cross retriever there, Quill the Cockapoo, and Sandy, the Golden Retriever cross that I work with. So through the human dog bond that everybody spoke about so far, which is wonderful, as we've heard previously from the other people speaking as well, is we can really empower individuals to achieve their personal goals. So during these hour-long sessions, which are usually weekly, we really help a person to achieve what's important to them. And we look at tailoring activities that involve the dog. It's going to be enjoyable for the person with the dog. And these are based on the person's interests and also what the dog enjoys doing. And these sessions really help to build that bond, to help build an individual's confidence, to empower them. And the sessions work towards a goal that can be anything that's meaningful for that person. So these can include helping somebody with physiotherapy, getting out and about in the fresh air, accessing communities. And we also look to then connect them with other services. So when we step away, because these sessions are for a set period of time, usually around 8 weeks, the person then has linked into another support that will actually help to continue support with them and add meaning to their life as well. And looking at this, we then thought, okay, well, how can we're a very small team, how can we expand what we're doing to touch more people, and also to bring in an element of where we can involve wonderful volunteers. And this is where our dog day events come in. So these are having wonderful volunteers with their pet dogs come along to attend training, and then the sessions are held in a dementia resource centre. And these are a fun, enjoyable way for people to interact with their dogs. As you can see from these wonderful photos here, there's lovely interactions. It's fun, it's sociable. And as we've heard from other people, these interactions for people who may not be able to have a dog in their life are so meaningful and so powerful. And it's lovely for the people who are attending, their support, carers, and also the volunteers. Everybody has a lovely time. And as I know others of you have mentioned, the dogs also really hugely benefit and enjoy these interactions as well. So looking upon this, we also realised that we wanted to help people who have their own pet dogs or are maybe looking at getting a pet dog. And how could we do that? So we devised online resources so people can access these at their own convenience, their support can access them, everybody who's involved with that dog can have a look through at the resources. And we also have in-person workshops where people get to interact. There's Sandy, the dog that I work with, they're interacting with one of our attendees. So they can interact with our dogs and really have an informed session about how having a dog can support them, can impact upon their lives, but also having a real sort of honest reflection on, as some of you have mentioned, the expenses of dogs, the considerations that we may need to have, and how we can put supports in place to, like it's been brilliant they mentioned about bringing in vets and other professionals. And through this, people can make a choice as to actually whether, if they're looking at getting a dog, that's right for them, or that may bring them into thinking about getting an assistance dog, which we can support with, or we can then support them at having other accesses to dogs that may not involve the dog living with them, but may involve interactions with the dog in a fun, sociable way, such as the dog days. So the idea is that we deliver information, people can then go away and make an informed choice and also find out where to get help and support from as well. So they've got that sort of full package there. So as Fiona mentioned, what we really love to do is share with you, because we appreciate, as we've heard here, actually hearing from those who've experienced our services is so meaningful, and them sharing their personal experience of what a dog in their life means to them is really important. So we've got a very special video to share with you that we'd like you to have a look at.
Hopefully it will play through.
So with the Community Dog Project, we have sessions where we work with individuals. The basis of the sessions is to find out what they really want to achieve during the time that they work with us. So we get to know the person, and the dog is a great way of fast tracking that. They really help us to build a bond, help put everybody at ease, especially initially we're going into people's homes, and we want them to make sure that they feel comfortable and confident with having Sandy and myself around. When we've identified the person's goal, we then have weekly sessions for about an hour a week. So we work on empowering the individual so they can then continue to work on the goals, or maybe set themselves some new goals when we look to step away.
Well, as a family, always had dogs.
Growing up, isn't it? Yeah.
Growing up from a tiny baby.
And our daughter Sarah saw the advert for the open day at the centre in Bridgeton. So our other daughter Joanne took us through. Well, we had a lovely time. Natasha came with Sandy, and we bonded immediately with
Yes.
Sandy, didn't we? And
Yes.
got to know Natasha. We've had lovely meetings with all the team, haven't we?
Yes.
And they were guiding us to what was right for Colin and what was right for myself.
We can really see with families such as Colin and Christine how actually they approached us initially interested in applying for an assistance dog, but actually as they started to work with Natasha and Sandy, that ambition and end goal changed for them and shifted to perhaps wishing to get a pet dog instead. And this is a really wonderful example of how the different services that we've evolved over the years can really help tailor around the specific needs of each family we support.
We really were very grateful to all
Yes,
the help that
very.
we had from the team
Support. Yes.
and the friendship that we've had. And I'm so grateful for all the help that we've been given
Yes, very much so.
from
Very
the
much so.
carers, from the Dementia Dog team. I can't imagine a life without a dog. It's just so wonderful.
The dogs are such an important part of Moira's life. Moira was diagnosed about 2.5 years ago with Alzheimer's, which she'd all really worked out what was going on. And the dogs are a huge part of her life, and we felt it was really important to find ways that she could continue to enjoy them and to spend time with them and be safe with them. It was really through research in Alzheimer's Scotland and that we discovered that dementia dogs not only provided assistant dogs, which we knew about, but that they also provided support to people with memory conditions who had animals or, were often with animals as she was. So we thought this would be a good thing to get linked into so that we would have support as we were trying to figure our way to keep the dogs a huge part of your life.
That's right, yes. Well, it was just very nice to meet other people and to hear about their stories with their dogs and how happy they were having dogs and how much they enjoyed the dogs. I found it, and the people were very good about answering questions, and they were very good at giving you advice about things, yes.
I think the main thing is it gives you reassurance that you can manage the situation, because you know you've always got access to people that can give you advice and help. It's knowing that it's there in the background. You realise that it's not a one-off thing like the workshops or the learning. It's an ongoing thing because the condition's ongoing. So it's the useful thing is knowing that you've got folk there that you can contact and say, have you any ideas for things that would be useful in this situation, and know that they've got lots of experience, not just with dogs, but also with the condition of dementia.
My name is Imke Thompson. My husband Malcolm had Parkinson's and dementia, and 7 years ago we were the very lucky recipients of a dementia dog. Before there were the two of us, and if you suggested something to Malcolm, you should maybe do his exercise now or something, would be, oh, can't be bothered just now. I trained Webb to roll out the yoga mat for my husband, and when a dog does it, stands there wagging its tail saying, come on, I've done this for you, let's do the exercise now, I lie down beside you. Yeah, absolutely no competition, you do it. So it just changed the whole atmosphere as a house, and I felt I wasn't on my own anymore. It was all those little gestures he did and helped us, and we could, and he made my husband laugh. Sadly, my husband died very, very suddenly, about 2 years after we received Webb. It was a very, very difficult time because Webb was grieving just as much as I was. It was really difficult to kind of actually watch him around the house, kind of looking for him and not settling down in the room that had been my husband's bedroom for the last few months, etc. So, but we got through it together. It was always my choice to keep Webb, but I also wanted him to do something because obviously he was skilled, he should use those skills. And the opportunity came up to volunteer with dementia dogs. Initially, because we were talking 2020 in lockdown, so one of our first things was we did dog bingo online. Now things have opened up, we can do things in person. It's just a wonderful way to kind of pay back everything we were given in the past, and I think we both enjoy doing it, and it is good to see how he can bring the smile to people's faces, or you see little hands kind of coming out, in a dementia group, and just giving him a little bit of a pat, or maybe even producing a biscuit out of the back pocket and feeding it to him. So it's all those little things which Webb appreciates, I appreciate, and I hope that the people with dementia do appreciate as well. And it's a good overall kind of package. We all benefit, I hope.
One of the things that makes Dementia Dog quite unique is that behind this charitable project is the collaboration between Alzheimer's Scotland and Dogs for Good. And what this means on a practical level is that for all the families that we support, we can really bring that expertise and skills around dementia and the dog support as well. And as we know, for anybody who's living with a diagnosis of dementia, everybody's journey through this is different and unique. And so it's really important that as a project and as a team, we can really sort of flex to the changing needs of the people who come to us for help and support.
Natasha and Nadia and all the team, they were all looking out for a dog for us, and so it came to mind that I would write this poem with the links to West Side Story. There's a dog for us, somewhere a dog for us. Hold her lead and we'll take her there for walks and runs in the open air. Someday, somehow, somewhere, she'll have a good way of living. We'll have a new way of giving love and fun and care. Someday, somehow, somewhere, there's a dog for us. Somewhere a dog for us. Someday.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
that's our website there if anybody wants to find out more information. And yeah, I'll stop sharing the screen now. Happy to take any questions.
Well, I think I can speak for everybody. What a fantastic video.
Yeah.
And what fantastic work you guys do. I'm not going to ask any questions because I haven't got any, but I mean, I'm so humbled by the impact that you've noticed that the dogs can have on family life. It's fantastic. And I think we're opening up, we're launching a Padlet soon, and I'll be in touch with you to get to offer you a place on that Padlet to show the work that you do, which will go to all our members.
Yeah. Good.
Because I think it's really important. There is some incredible comments in here. Brilliant. Please let us share. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you all. I've had such a lovely doggy fix. Next best thing, the real thing. Seen all your pictures are a lovely poem. That's from Hillary. From Helen, a dog is not just for life. It's important for life with dementia. The unconditional love and support and care given to us by our dog is priceless. I go through a very dark period of depression and anxiety, and my dogs pick me up. This immediately comes to me, cuddles and affection. I thought this was going to be a great subject, and it's proven that it is. I think it's so important that where we can, we promote this, not just dogs with dementia, but for everybody. Martina, quickly, because we have to close.
Yeah. I just wanted to say what has really impressed me the most. You are a lifeline to hundreds of thousands of people out there. You are a real lifeline and you're inspiring. And I just wish there was more done down in England like this, which would help so many people, which was why I asked where you were based. You should be incredibly proud of yourselves. Incredibly proud.
Proud, yeah.
Well, all it leaves to me is to thank all the panelists. So thank you so much for everything and for the audience as well. We'll be shortly telling about our next webinar, which will be approximately a month from today. Can I thank you all for attending today, either as a panelist or in the audience, and go about your business safely. Remember, it's quite windy, so be careful. Even a lad of my size nearly got blown off his bike this morning, so take it easy out there and have a good day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.